Welcome into all the Sagittarius rising signs of the zodiac to your horoscope for September. Thanks for joining me here on Cosmic Girl. Trust you're doing well. And let's get down to it because the month of September, it's a pretty big month. We've got two eclipses, Equinox. Your chart ruler Jupiter is continuing its transit in Cancer, the moon sign of rulership. And the month astrologically is quite busy, as above, so below. So we are going to get into all the planets and transits, where these planets are transiting in the natal houses for the Sagittarius rising signs, what it all means for you. As tradition, I like to open up the video discussing the transit of all rising signs, ruling planet. And it's Jupiter for you as a Sagittarius rising sign. Congratulations, you have the greater benefic as your avatar in this incarnation. And Jupiter continues its transit in Cancer, your eighth house, until the 30th of June next year. And we'll recap quickly what this is. If you are new to the channel, you may not know this information. Okay, so your chart ruler Jupiter is in Cancer until the 30th of June next year, and it's in the natal eighth house. So this natal eighth house is about death, can be physical death, but it also indicates transformation where we can release an experience, a person, an environment, a behavior that needs to be shed, let go of, so we can have new doors open and new experiences that are emotionally fulfilling. And so this transit can be a little bittersweet. We can't really sugarcoat it because it is the natal eighth house. If we have to let go of people, places, and things, it can be a bit sobering, but it also gives us a chance as a human, especially with our own planet transiting in the eighth house, to be okay of emotional overwhelm regarding people, places, and things that siphon our energy, like they drain us and drown us out. And so, all in all, with your chart ruler being in the natal eighth house, you may go through this process of emotional elimination of people, places, and things that you've naturally outgrown, or just things change and happen. And that's life. Welcome to planet Earth. And it's also the natal eighth house connected to inheritance. So topics such as inheritance, so wills, uh, life insurance, policy, paperwork may be a focus until next year, June 30, with this transit with your chart ruler in the eighth house. We also consider the eighth house of shared finances and other people's finances, and we may be in control of other people's finances, or we could be in control of a lot of people's financial interests as well, with Jupiter in the eighth house. So if you have natally Jupiter in the eighth house of Cancer, Sagittarius rising sun, then you may be a banker or a stockbroker, or you could be working on a sporting committee and you're in control of the trust for the club that you're a part of, because it is the house of finances, other people's resources. So that's a big potential if you have it natally. But with this being just a transit for a year, you may be in control of other people's resources or shared interests. And it is a house of resources that improve you, resources and finances that you get support from. So this can be like a marriage partner, could be, again, your stockbroker, or could be your stocks, cryptocurrency. And that could be your focus. But it is those that we knock shoulders with of a financial interest regarding resources or inherited property items that we see grow and flourish, that provides safety and security for us, because it is Cancer, and Cancer is primarily focused on emotional security, especially within home and family dynamics. Cancer gets a bit of a bad rap. Or Cancer is a stalk and secretive and snobby and crabby. That's really not fair. Cancer primarily is focused on taking action on its heart's desire. So it trusts its intuition. It just follows its emotions. So excuse me, with this transit until the 30th of June next year, you may be primarily focused on like locking in, if you will, very Cancerian, very crab-like, locking in on emotional fulfillment. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But I like this transit for you to purge, release, detox, and cleanse anything that emotionally you're experiencing regarding the environment, your home, family, the self, the body, and to sort of close down long stories and chapters that you've naturally outgrown, which is what we're here to do in our growth journey. As we age, we get wise, we have experiences that we know that we can let go with love, grace, and gratitude. So it's an important transit. I mean, it's playing out for over a year, but that doesn't mean, oh, that's it. Jupiter's in Cancer for a year. That's not what it's about. There's a lot to it. And primarily, as a astrology enthusiast, I encourage you to focus in on the moon's transit because your chart ruler Jupiter is in the moon sign of rulership. This is the moon's domain. So all the moon cycles and phases will be really significant with your chart ruler Jupiter being in that eighth house of other people's resources, death, and inheritance and shared finance. So that's significant. Keep track of that moon. So the new moons, the full moons, solar eclipses, full moon eclipses, they're going to be important for you as a Sagittarius rising sign because you're in the moon's temple. So you have homework to do. It's not just all, oh, Jupiter's there for a year. I don't need to think about it. No, not at all. You have to have a keen eye on what the lunar phases are doing, especially connected to your own natal chart. Okay, so that's the astrology info you keep in your back pocket. It's like a feather in your cap. You know what the focus is. Chart ruler continues its transit in Cancer in your natal eighth house. And this month, Jupiter has a few direct aspects, meaning conversations with other planets. And there's plenty of astrology intel coming your way in this video. So let's jump to it. Sagittarius rising signs. Mars, a planet of action, aggression, and passion, continues its transit in Libra until the 22nd of September. So, yeah, this is witnessing maybe some trouble in paradise connected to your friends, social connections, your dreams and goals. Everything's being weighed up, and it could be a lot of communication and delegation going on. What's right, what's just, what's fair, and witnessing friends and social connections going through some up and down moments with Mars in your natal 11th house of connection until the 22nd of September. Excuse me. And Jupiter's in the eighth house of Cancer and it squares Libra. So you can may be witnessing, for better words, trouble in paradise with those around you. And you may be in conflict with getting involved with conflict or anything to do with relationships, contracts, and agreements. You might be a little bit hesitant to fly in where angels fear to tread in regards to being vocal about your thoughts and your basically objective point of view of what friends or groups are actually going through with this transit as well until the 22nd of September with Jupiter in the 8th squaring the 11th. You might just be minding your P's and Q's, even though there could be just a little bit difficult to witness. Things aren't all roses when it comes to your friends, social events and social settings with this transit. It's a passing transit, nothing too severe. On the 1st of September, moving forward for about 5.5 months, Saturn's going back into Pisces. And this is an angular part of your natal chart for you as a Sagittarius rising sign. And so it's loud. Saturn is loud. Saturn is trying to knock on your natal fourth house, knock on its door, wake you up. Something important needs to be wrapped up here when Saturn goes back into the natal fourth house, angular part of your natal chart. So Saturn's going back in Pisces, the fourth house, for 5 and a bit months. Big transit. So what does Saturn bring to the natal fourth house? Well, Saturn in the natal fourth house is a fascinating placement for Saturn, especially in Pisces. But your natal fourth house is about your home family. It's domestic life. It's parents, parenting, your heritage and your lineage. And Saturn's coming back into the fourth house. And Saturn is about time, legacy, effort. Saturn is mature. Saturn gets things just right and has a lot of focus on structure and solid foundations. That's primarily what Saturn's interested in. I just want things settled. I want to take my time. I want to be patient. I want things just so. So from the 1st of September till February 14 next year, Saturn is bringing to that natal fourth house of your domestic, like home, family, real estate, property, parents, your lineage, important intel. So this could be bringing back old stories, old faces, reconnecting with people that have been maybe away from you for quite some time. So this could be family members coming back, reappearing. This could be a transit where Saturn is trying to bring Sagittarius rising signs home life, some sort of uh, routine structure that feels safe and solid. So you could be smartening up the family unit here. Saturn wants to bring discipline, patience, and time, and you might experience this transit of Saturn back in Pisces for one last round, where you feel you want to maybe revamp your home, sell your home, maybe antique shopping. Saturn, the planet of wisdom, maybe you'd like to focus in on academia with this transit. Saturn is the monastic one, likes to put his head in the books and learn and educate himself. So the education and academia might be a focus, whether you want to start a course or maybe you want to mentor others. Saturn in the fourth, maybe you'd like to instruct or teach people about your experiences and share them with family members. Great for researching ancestral lines, maybe going to cemeteries, interested in archaeology, maybe digging up the backyard, finding grandpa's watch that you know is there, but you never bothered, and now you're going back for one last time, and maybe you find grandpa's watch. It's Saturn, the planet of time, legacy, interesting, and you've got 5.5 months of Saturn in the fourth house, so it's a good transit to like sort of what's the word am I trying to use? In instigate structure and remove old family stories. You know, there's family stories that we have. Oh, Uncle Brian was, he was so great, but he also had a massive, I don't know, addiction that no one wants to talk about. So it's good with Saturn back here for 5.5 months in your home life, your family life too. And release old stories like addictions. It is Pisces. Like this could be drugs and alcohol, psychology, psychiatric wards and centres where we need to retreat from the world, whether it's like we go on a pilgrimage or we just need to recover, Pisces, and maybe getting into medicine and trying to nut out pharmaceuticals with this transit is a big possibility. Pisces connected to health and pharmaceuticals, medicine, psychiatric wards, and therapy, counseling, things like that. So it's also a really good transit to engage yourself with those topics and subjects. With Saturn now back in Pisces for 5 and a bit months, we just want to get things right and we want to purge, detox, and release emotional strongholds. Pisces, we need to surrender to our feelings and emotions that are difficult to process. And for 5.5 months, you might go there. You might just feel compelled to finally release an emotional shackle that you have been experiencing for the past 2 years, because Saturn's been in Pisces since 2023. He's only ingressed into Aries at 1 degree in your fifth house since the 25th of May. So it's only been 3 months and not a lot's happened in the natal fifth house as far as, getting things just right. Saturn, the planet of let's just get things just right and take our time. So it's a really good transit to close down doors. Saturn, the planet of time. Maybe it is time just to get down into the weeds of things that are difficult to process, acknowledge, experience. So it's good for getting down to it, so we can have our home life where we feel safe and secure. We feel in flow. We feel emotionally fulfilled and excited to walk in our door and breathe in our space and enjoy our sanctuary where we chill out at the end of the day. So it's a big transit. Saturn going back into your natal fourth house. Key dates to keep in your back pocket. Saturn goes direct on November 27 at 25 degrees in Pisces in that natal fourth house. That might be a big day for you as a Sagittarius rising sign regarding that fourth house on the 27th. Then he'll keep going direct in Pisces. And we'll go back into your natal fifth house, February 14, 2026 to April 12, 2028. And it's a little ways away as yet. So you're focusing in now on the natal fourth house. I like that your chart ruler Jupiter is in the 8th house, trining the fourth house. So this 8th and 4th house can work in tandem easily. It's a trine, it's a Jupiterian aspect actually. So 8th and 4th house working in tandem until February 14 next year, which is really good. So death, inheritance, resources, shared finances, financial interests, entanglements with other people might benefit the natal 4th house in some capacity. Think Cancer, home investment, financial readjusting with our mortgages, lending to buy an expat. Also, with the 8th house trining the 4th house with this transit, it's easy to access resources that are supportive to the family lives, like therapy, doctors, think Cancer, masseuse, hydro bath, infrared treatments, anything that nurtures the body. There's plenty out there that's nurturing. It makes us feel all warm and fuzzy. That supports the home and family. Interesting astrology for all of us with Saturn going back into Pisces, but for you, he'll be in that natal fourth house. So enjoy. Might be hearing some nice stories, or people might be returning, getting into your family heritage. Yeah, it's good. Not too bad at all. Okay. We are going to talk about, just quickly recapping the modern planets. So that is Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. They're all retrograde in the month of September. Uranus officially retrogrades on the 6th of September. And these modern planets, they're sextiling and trining one another, which is really good. So for the whole month of September moving forward, Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune are playing nice. So there's plenty of flow from your seventh house, relationships and other people, your community, education, siblings, extended family members, travel opportunities, children if applicable to you, sex and intimacy, pregnancy, fertility, artistic and creative endeavors where you just want to learn and expand and grow and experience life, and we have a creative interest or a creative outlet. So that's really nice. Seventh, fifth, and third house in flow for the whole month of September moving forward. And there's lots of excitement and action going on within us and around us, especially with these outer modern planets hooking up nicely from your seventh, third, and fifth house. So really good astrology. As above, so below. We will take it when the modern planets are all playing nice. We're getting hints of the future, and it's coming from your seventh house, third house, and fifth house for you as a Sagittarius rising sign. Mercury is ingressing into your natal 10th house from the 2nd of September to the 18th. This is a really quick transit. Mercury is flying through the solar system at top speed. So Mercury is going into the 10th house, and this is your house of your career, your professional industry, achievements, ambition, anything to do with authority, and anything of an official capacity. That's the natal 10th house. It's your public name and identity. The natal 10th house is, where we really want to head towards that natal 10th house, and it's Virgo. And it's a really quick transit of Mercury where in its own sign of rulership, Virgo, it's in domicile, it's exalted. This is really, really nice placement for Mercury to be in Virgo, in your 10th house, no less. So let's talk about this quickly. Now, Mercury loves to bring debate, financial interest to the table. Mercury likes intel, Mercury likes travel, Mercury likes to research, Mercury likes to communicate and socialize. Mercury loves that. And Mercury likes to separate things so it can understand. So it's really good at debating. So Mercury's like really good at, well, tell me why this stock is so good. Don't just say it's good. I need details. Don't give me embellishments. I'm not interested. That's Mercury. It can be very argumentative. He's not interested in fluff. He just wants facts, figures, and logistics. And this transit is happening in that 10th house of yours. So you're getting down to, getting down to it, if you will. What's my salary? What's my wage? I think I'm worth more. So I can see a lot of Sagittarius rising signs going, if you don't pay me more, I'm out of here. If things don't change and I don't feel comfortable anymore with being overlooked and basically taken advantage of, I've got the goods, you hired me for the right reasons. I can see Sagittarius rising signs giving some people in their workplace the bird. But in your professional industry, there can be a serious upgrade as well when Mercury is in the 10th, where Mercury is exalted and in domiciled, functioning really well in its sign of rulership, Virgo, practical Virgo. Can be a lot of new policies and procedures coming in the workplace, your professional arena as well, with Mercury in Virgo, the sign of service. So services is going to be the key here, whether you're providing services in a public capacity, that's going to be very significant. So whatever you're presenting to the world, it could be marketing yourself, putting out a resume, or you could be going to interviews, or you could be public facing with your company or on behalf of a product of your own with this transit. It's a really good transit for that. Mercury, again, travel. That travel could be a focus within your career, or you may be ambitiously pursuing travel. Mercury in Virgo, wanting to travel, relocate, maybe international travel. Maybe you just want to travel further than where you are in your current situation regarding your social ambitions and your lofty dreams and goals with this transit with Mercury in the 10th house from the 2nd of September to the 18th. So it's a busy transit. There's lots going on in the natal 10th house. And it's an angular part of your natal chart again, like the 4th is an angular part of your natal chart where Saturn has just retrograded back into that 4th house. So these are loud. So Mercury is bringing something super significant. So it could be a lot of officialdom and a lot of smartening up here regarding anything to do with Virgoan topics and subjects such as service, mentoring, teaching, education, purifying, purging, detoxing, cleansing, and clearing out. So this is like relocating offices, purchasing new clothes for your workplace or your industry, whether you're behind the camera, so you could be doing new web pages or social media photograph sessions with this transit as well. A lot going on, Mercury in Virgo. I wouldn't be surprised either, astrologically speaking, with Mercury in the 10th for you, Virgo rising signs. You might be sort of focusing in, it is Virgo, you might be focusing in on a skill, like developing a skill, a niche skill, something that is detail oriented, whether this is like creating new systems that make the daily operations run more efficiently in your career or your professional industry. Yeah, interesting transit, but it's a quick one. Mercury's at top speed in the solar system, so you've only got Mercury in the 10th of Virgo from the 2nd to the 18th of the month. So if you are a Virgo, if you are a Sagittarius rising sign out there and you go, oh, I really want that job, I really need to strike while the iron's hot, that company that I really want to work for only has an opening for so long, I need to get cracking. This is a transit to do it. This is great for forward facing in the public, putting your name on the map kind of transit. Really nice because Mercury's functioning so well in the 10th house of Virgo. Enjoy that. On the 3rd, we have your chart ruler Jupiter having trouble playing nice or being involved with dispute on the 3rd. Just let them do what they want to do. So easy does it on the 3rd when you could be just having a moment where you might be witnessing a little bit of injustice or something's not quite right, but it's not your stuff. So mind your P's and Q's on the 3rd when your chart ruler Jupiter doesn't really agree with what you're witnessing. And Mercury is squaring Uranus. So it's your significant relationships, your one-on-ones, maybe marriage partners, if that's applicable to you. Might be having a conflict within the workplace, something public, maybe with their actual professional industry. You could be hearing some not so nice news coming from outside of you regarding other people, relationships, or a marriage partner. Interesting, potentially quite difficult day on the 3rd, especially with communication and conversations. On the 7th, we have our first eclipse of September. This is a full moon lunar eclipse in your natal 4th house of Pisces. It's happening at 15 degrees. Beautiful moment. It's a full moon. All full moons are wonderful. We get to see the moon in its absolute brilliance. It's light, it's bright, it lights up things that are otherwise obscured. And that's what a full moon is. We see something that's been gestating or building for a very long time and we get to see the results when we are in a full moon phase. Lovely. But this is a full moon eclipse. So this is a little bit more potent, a little bit more special and powerful. So you have this a full moon lighting up something in your private sphere, home, family, real estate, property, parents, the past, something that you are experiencing behind closed doors that's particularly yummy, like a big win, for better words, or a big purge and release, a big, I've come this far and now I'm done and I'm ready to change gears and go into a new trajectory. So it's a big eclipse. It's a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 7th of the month. So this could be the closing down of a very long chapter, a very long story that has been experienced in the natal fourth house where Saturn's just retrograded back into. So this is the proverbial beginning of the end. It's like a graduation point where something within your home sphere that you do in solitude, in private, it's not very public, the natal fourth house. So there's a change going on here. It'll be very subjective what we can experience. I can only surmise that something or someone within the family is now ready to change direction, maybe with taking time away from the public or their career or professional industry. Maybe they've hit their peak, for better words, with their public ambitions, and they're ready to move on or move into different environments or spaces, like think retirement, passing on the baton, leaving a legacy behind, or ready to move into a different arena professionally. Think of a family member or someone that you're dealing with behind closed doors says, I've learned a lot, but now I'm ready to be more autonomous and go in my own direction, start my own business or my own social media blog. That sort of experience can occur on the 7th of September when it's just, we're done. We're moving into a new direction. The Sun and Mercury are in the 10th house of Virgo. And so something quite big can be, changing here regarding a big shift within the family unit or with home, real estate, property, ancestry. But it's the fourth house. It's not very public. So this is a private little moment of, I'm done. I've reached my peak and I'm ready to go in a different direction. Really quite lovely on the 7th of September with a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And it is Pisces, so we're talking about feelings and emotions, intuition, very psychic, very compassionate, caring, a caring moment, a beautiful moment to be experienced where the full moon lunar eclipse gives us a 6-month window to close something down that we put a lot of heart and soul and tender, loving care towards. Yeah, so it could be putting your home up for auction, moving jobs. Partner says, I've had enough. I'm sick of painting. I'm going to go back to university and I want to learn to be a veterinarian, something like that. It's really big and it's really lovely. Enjoy the 7th of September with a full moon lunar eclipse in your natal fourth house. On the 12th, we have Jupiter connecting nicely with the Sun and Mercury. Yes, it might be really easy to step into a mentorship role, a leadership role in your workplace or professional industry. It's also easy to maybe pitch yourself regarding interviews or your products to the world on this day, or it's easy for you to access support in anything of an official capacity. Really, really nice astrology on the 12th. So it's easy for you to capitalize on upgrading your status in the public space, that kind of thing on the 12th, should you be that ambitious of your own free will. There'll be opportunities to expand and grow in a public facing role or with your name and identity or your actual career on the 12th. So really nice, should you choose to take it, of course. And the next day on the 13th, we've got Mercury conjunct the Sun. So this is what we call a cazimi, where the Sun is the Sun. Mercury is in the heart of the Sun. So the Sun is sort of granting Mercury life force, which is what the Sun does. It gives it light, it gives it energy, it gives it optimism. And the sun is the ruler of Leo, and that's your natal ninth house. In a Leo, that natal ninth house, the ruler of that ninth is the sun. And that is the house of foreigners, foreign places, higher education. Think universities, community colleges where we go to places where we develop niche skills that give us an academic feather, for better words. It's the house of travel, international travel. It's a house of belief and faith, and it's a house of religion. So Mercury is getting a super big dose from the sun on the 13th. There's something in this. This is really like a benefit to, I like to think of this as you need to be more certain and have a more conviction in what you're doing in a public facing role or your career. And with that, you need to be well traveled or well versed in foreign things and foreign places, or academia, or learning a new philosophy will benefit you, especially with your worldly ambitions, with your career, anything of an official capacity. So it's a big day on the 13th when the sun bestows Mercury. Something in your public sphere, your career, is getting an injection of life. This, I like to think of this astrologically as, you've been pitching and pitching regarding finding your dream job or finally getting your product on the shelves, and then it happens on the 13th, or you get really good news on how to make that dream job or your product zoom to the top of the line in the marketing race. It's that quite kind of astrology. Really nice from the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th, with the planets in transits and the aspects that they're making. On the 14th, we have Venus sextiling Mars. This is great if you've been waiting for a moment or an opportunity to buy an international ticket, put your thesis in, start a new religious path. This is the day to do it on the 14th when Venus sextiles Mars. So we have like the yin and yang coming together quite nicely. Great opportunity on the 14th to extend your reach further. And you might also be hearing some very positive news from friends, even allies, or your social connections might be bringing to Sagittarius rising signs good news. We'll take it on the 14th. On the 17th, we have Mercury opposing Saturn. Yeah, it all becomes a bit real on the 17th with our ambitions and what we want to do in a public facing role, and our professional industry. We know it's not that we're shy about, putting the hard yards in to get what we want, because we're passionate about our careers and what we want to bring to the world. But the 17th is the day where it all becomes very sobering and very real on the work it's going to take to get to where we want to go. And so this can be a day on the 17th when, we need to step up to the plate regarding our worldly and lofty ambitions, but it's going to take a lot of sacrificing, maybe take us away from home, our family, and responsibilities that we deal with on the daily. So this can be a day where we do get that offer to step up to the plate and be a boss or more proactive in your chosen industry. And that means that we might need to sacrifice a bit of time away from our family or not be so present. So it can be a bit of a numbing, this is real, this is happening kind of day when Mercury opposes Saturn retrograde. On the 18th, the next day, we see Mercury ingress into Libra, into your natal 11th house, and immediately opposes retrograde Neptune again. It's only the day before on the 17th that Mercury was saying, yeah, you want it. You're going to have to sacrifice something kind of stuff. And the 18th is the same sort of astrology with Mercury opposing Neptune retrograde. You've got this ideal vision regarding your ambitions, your career, your professional industry. Yeah, no problem at all. We're happy to give you opportunity to open doors and advance. But you've got to be really clear that this is going to take a bit of sacrificing. This is going to take a lot of, getting our hands dirty kind of stuff with Mercury opposing Neptune retrograde on the 18th. So Mercury's in Libra now in the natal 11th house from the 18th to October 6th. This is your social calendar is going to go through the roof. This is like scheduling appointments, scheduling trips, planning trips, financial documents, contracts, and agreements are all up for grabs with Mercury in Libra from the 18th to October 6th. So we're putting plans into action and we are going forward very confidently with Mercury in Libra. But we're also weighing up the pros and cons at the same time, getting all excited about our future plans, our lofty dreams and goals, and our social connections and plans with our friends and social events. We're all excited, but Mercury is really going to be bringing a lot of debate at the same time. What's right, what's just, what's fair. So this is a lot of weighing things out with friends, social connections, and your dreams and your goals. So think paperwork, logistics, data, analytics, think bank balances, think delegation, being objectively looking at the realities of things that really do get you excited and your friends and social connections. But you also have to be fat income kind of transit with Mercury in Libra from the 18th to October 6th. So there's a lot of action. Make sure your phone's charged, reply to emails, but read the fine print with Mercury in Libra with anything of an official capacity. Okay. And especially financial and travel plans and travel itinerary. You forewarned us, forearmed, Sagittarius risings. On the 19th, we have Venus ingress into Virgo and Mercury's trining Uranus and Pluto retrograde. Nice day on the 19th. Mercury trining Uranus and Pluto. Yeah, this can be agreeing to take affirmative action towards plans for the future. So we're setting things up here on the 19th. So this is going to be a very busy day as well. Lots of action, lots of travel, lots of talk, lots of back and forth going on the 19th with Mercury trining Uranus and Pluto retrograde. Sort of setting some foundations in line here for future plans is what I'm getting on the 19th, which is nice. Could be as exciting as planning an international trip or just planning an event on the 19th. It's all happening. Okay, and Venus is ingressing into the natal 10th house where Mercury just transited and where the Sun is currently as well. So Venus is now in the natal 10th house until October 13. So this is, again, your career, public name, identity, anything of an official capacity. It's your ambitions. It's the natal 10th house. There's a lot going on. Lots going on. Lots of excitement. And now Venus comes in, and Venus is about relationships and unity and cohesion and value and love. And Venus just wants to bring that natal 10th house an injection of love and fun and is interested in making things just right. Venus in the 10th house. This is great for upgrading your wardrobe, having that photo shoot, especially with Venus here in the 10th house of Virgo. But Venus traditionally is in fall, no biggie. Mercury is in Venus's sign of rulership, which is the 11th house of Libra. So Venus is not doing too bad with this transit from the 19th, well, at least until the 19th and the 6th of October with Venus in the 10th because Mercury is in Venus's sign of rulership. So we've got mutual reception. So we can get through it kind of thing with Venus in the 10th house. And Venus wants to bring cohesion. So this can be like an influx of collaborations. This can be and building new relationships in the workplace, new connections within your professional arena. Venus can bring a lot of pleasure to your uh, public name and public identity. Venus brings you value and pleasure in the 10th house. So I like this transit. Uh, and I like it also because we've got mutual reception from Mercury helping out Venus in Mercury's sign of rulership. So for the 19th to October 13th, best foot forward, present with style, precision, and class should you be in a public facing role, and enjoy new people, places, and things that really do support the daily operations in your career or your lofty dreams and goals and ambitions. Really nice. Venus transiting in your 10th house. Enjoy. On the 20th, we have Uranus square Venus. Yeah, this could be hearing just a lot of complaints kind of day coming from others, or just knowing that, times are changing and shifting, and other people around us may need to catch up to what's going on in the world kind of day with Uranus squaring off with Venus. We also have the Sun opposing Saturn retrograde. Again, this is, it might be hard to keep things behind closed doors and in private on this day. The Sun's opposed to Saturn retrograde. So we've got to be fair income about what we want to do in the public with our public name and identity and career, and know the consequences, which means putting the family life and home life on hold. It's that kind of day on the 20th when we're all just, what do we do? Are we doing the right thing? Is this really good for us? Well, you have Jupiter in the 8th house, your chart ruler Jupiter in the 8th house of other people, marriage, partner, people that support you in resources or financial opportunities, sextiling the 10th house. So there's potential here to capitalize and increase your wealth and support from others. I cannot tell you what to do regarding go towards your ambition with heart and soul, and don't worry about the family. Then you just got to do what you got to do. I'm not suggesting that, but it looks like there's something big brewing here that can almost feel like the family is going to be a little bit disgruntled or not completely sold on you professionally kicking goals. It's not particularly easy, I don't think, when ambition is knocking on your door so easily. But we've got a family home to run at the same time, or we could be dealing with some sort of crisis behind closed doors that no one knows about, and it's all a bit much coming home to roost on the 20th. So deep breaths. On the 21st, we have our second eclipse of September, and it's a new moon, partial solar eclipse in Virgo in your natal 10th house, which we talked about extensively. That's the top of your natal chart. That's your career. It's your ambitions. It's authority. It's public facing roles, professional name, an identity. And we have a new beginning here, but it's a solar eclipse, so it packs a punch. It's very potent. Solar eclipses in the 10th house, and this is all about leadership, ownership, entrepreneurship, standing out from a crowd, saying it with the chest. Kind of new moon, partial solar eclipse in Virgo. So it's going to be an upgrade in your professional industry, your actual career, your role in your career, and it sets the stage for the next 6 months. So partial solar eclipse is going to take 6 months to play out. This new moon solar eclipse is happening at 29 degrees. Okay. Well, it's significant because it is an angular part of your natal chart, the 10th house, like the 4th. And when we have new moons, they're quite new beginnings. very quiet. They're internal, they're not external like a full moon, but we've got a new beginning. So this is out with the old, in with the new, and can have a serious impact on your public name and identity, your chosen industry, your career, ambition, anything of an official capacity or to do with authority. Whether you become an authority, you become a boss, you become an entrepreneur, you take ownership and have complete agency here regarding your public standing on the 21st. So something's coming in that's going to have the Sagittarius rising signs really sitting up straight. And it's a big new beginning. It's nothing to sneeze at. So this is like a teaching role, leading role, could be to do with health, schools, education. This could be high precision work, learning new systems of work. Virgo, uh, high skilled um, education potentials going on here as well, with a partial new moon solar eclipse in Virgo in the 10th house. It's a big one. So something's beginning and taking shape and form, and it can be quite lively and optimistic. It is a solar eclipse, but it's just the tip of the iceberg, and things can really grow and flourish in the next 6 months. So I like that. Enjoy it, Sagittarius rising sign. Something big's brewing. Nice one. On the 22nd, we now see the sun leave your natal 10th house of Virgo, leaving Venus behind to do her magic. And the sun is now going into the 11th house for 4 weeks. Yeah, this can be a big month regarding your friends, your social networks, allies and benefactors, your dreams and goals for your future is in the spotlight for 4 weeks. So there's a lot of focus on networking, especially connecting with the right people, like networking for your chosen career or what you're trying to achieve with your own personal ambitions kind of transit. But the sun in the 11th is quite nice, because the 11th house is where we do knock shoulders with people, places, and things that we love, that we have a laugh with, we enjoy. So for 4 weeks, things might start lightening up in regards to um, bringing more life force back into your daily space. So reconnecting with people that have been maybe left behind, or they've been busy, or you've been busy. So great for reconnecting with things that bring you joy and pleasure. And that's usually our friends, or going to theatre or going to concerts. Could be really quite the focus for 4 weeks with the sun in Libra. We also have on the 22nd Mars ingressing into Scorpio, your natal 12th house, until November 3rd. So this is important because Mars is going in the 12th, and Mars is also the ruler of your natal 5th house. So let's just talk about Mars. Well, Mars is about action, passion, aggression. Mars is interested in developing a strategy and to execute its well laid plans, its own agenda. Mars is very autonomous and just cuts through the BS to get what it wants. That will be really quite savvy and strategic on how to basically execute his well laid plans. It's just be damned if anyone gets in Mars's way. That's Mars. Mars is very individual. But where would we be without Mars? We need energy. We need energy, or that's what Mars brings us. He brings us energy. He gives us the backbone we need to get things going. That is Mars. And more significantly, anyway, astrologically, your chart ruler Jupiter is in the 8th house, which we talked about extensively in the opening of the video. And Jupiter's trining that 12th house from the 8th. So you're witnessing Jupiter. You can see what's going on in that natal 12th house. So let's talk about this transit because it's a big one. And also, the natal eighth house trines that fourth house of home, family, and things that are going on behind closed doors as well. Okay. So, Mars in the 12th, where Mars just gets down to it in the natal 12th house, things like hospitals, institutions, psychiatric wards, prisons. Sounds fun, huh? The natal 12th house is hidden enemies like self-sabotaging behavior, difficulty in having agency over oneself. That's the natal 12th house. It's the house that keeps us isolated and in solitude. Not a particularly fun, uplifting house to discuss the natal 12th house. But the more denser things in lives we skim over, but they're there regardless whether we want to acknowledge them or not. Sometimes we have to go into those deep, dark spaces so we can cathartically remove them and they don't have ownership over us and have us in a holding space that is suffocating and paralyzing. That's the natal 12th house, okay? Quite dense. But what I like is that Mars is in Scorpio, in domicile, in a very, very strong position. We've got a strong Mars from the 22nd of September to November 3rd, when Mars can almost blast through things that are otherwise obscured from our view, take us away from our power, keep us small, keep us stuck, keep us, for better words, institutionalized. And Mars is the ruler of your natal fifth house. This is your children, if applicable to you. This is your romantic partners. This is the house of pregnancy, fertility. It's the house of sex. It's the house of creativity. The natal fifth house is the house of joy and pleasure. Things that we create of our own free will that bring us joy and pleasure. Mars is the ruler of that natal fifth house of Aries. This is why this is significant. So think of the things that we love, you as a Sagittarius rising sign. We love our children, if applicable. We love sex. We love pregnancy. We love fertility. We get all excited about that. We love our romantic partners. We love our creative artistic interests. We love them. And we're all up in it. It makes us joyful. It makes us happy. Mars rules that natal fifth house and is in the 12th. So this can be a very interesting transit for the Sagittarius rising signs, and your chart ruler Jupiter in the 8th is witnessing this transit, because from the 8th there's a trine to the 12th, so you can see. So it's like you're overseeing something here with Mars in the 12th house. So maybe you're overseeing children go through a transformation that may be somewhat difficult, can be emotionally intense. We are talking about Scorpio, emotional intensity here. Or a romantic partner is going into hiatus or a hospital or has to leave the space temporarily for a plethora of reasons. It'll be very subjective. Or things that we love, like creative pursuits, things that bring us joy, like art and craft or boxing. It could be anything, swimming, may be going through a process of elimination or readjustment. So it's a big transit with Mars in Scorpio, but more importantly, Mars is strong. So if romantic partnerships, sex, fertility, children, if applicable, anything that you enjoy is going into a bit of, for better words, process of elimination or detox purge session, then it does herald something beneficial happening here regarding that natal fifth house, because that natal 12th house is where we can really get on top in a very strong authoritative position. Mars and Scorpio well positioned, where Mars can handle going there or doing the hard yards on its own, so it can really muscle up here and releasing things that are otherwise difficult or have a strong hold. So this is like blowing the ghost out of the room kind of transit and bringing things up to the surface to release and transition into a new state. And that's empowering, it's uplifting, but we have to go through the trenches first kind of transit to get to the gold. And that's what Mars can do quite organically in the 12th house, is just get down to it, to have power and agency over things that are otherwise drowning us out. And I think that natal fifth house will have a lot to do with this transit as well. So can be a pretty intense transit. I don't know, I very rarely use that word, but it can be. Because if we're talking about things that we love, going through it, or, going in hiatus to go on a deep transformational process, and yeah, it can be hard to witness. And you will be witnessing it because your chart ruler Jupiter's in the 8th, trining the 12th. So you are witnessing this process of transformation with Mars in the 12th from the 22nd of September till November 3rd. It's not going to be without its challenges, but it's certainly going to be easier to navigate things that are otherwise obscured or hard to understand mysteries with this transit with Mars, the ruler of the 5th in the 12th. So quite nice. From the 23rd to the 25th, we are all on astrological notice that we might need an umbrella. We've got squares and oppositions going on and a trine from the 23rd to the 25th. And where would life be without challenges? It's that kind of 2 days where goalposts are being moved, cats are being let out of the bag, the neighbours losing their shit, kids have gone nuts, work has decided we're going to relocate today. Sorry, we didn't tell you. Your partner got the travel itinerary wrong. Anything that could go wrong that really gets our goat will be happening from the 23rd to the 25th of September. I mean, we're all in this cosmic soup together here on our beautiful blue planet on terra firma. We are all experiencing, these squares and oppositions and trines that are difficult. So not to pull it all and tear it to pieces, in short, when you are observing discomfort and challenges, you have all the power and agency in the world to not react, but process. It's that kind of 2 days where we all need to take a deep breath, not be reactive, and just quietly breathe and think before we take any acute action from the 23rd to 25th. My best astrological advice with these 2 days. What a month, hey? That is the astrology with the planets in transits, your horoscope for the month of September. It's a big one. And we know we're in equinox season, so things are changing. The goalposts are being moved seasonally. So we're in a new season. So we're going through adaptation, change, and can be with their challenges, but it can be some moments of really good stuff here. Because, us humans having change put upon us without our own free will can be a lot. But change brings in new opportunities and new experiences. So, we do our best here. We're only humans, and it's only astrology, guys. We're not going to die on the sword with planets in transits. Your chart ruler Jupiter is in the 8th house of Cancer until the 30th of June next year. So you have plenty of time to adjust and recalibrate to get your space safe, secure, emotionally content, and in flow. And to get to that state, if you will, it takes flexing and adaptation, and it takes a lot of effort, if you will, to get things just right. So it's a big transit for you with chart ruler Jupiter in the 8th of Cancer till next year. And the astrology for the month it's a lot with the planets in transits and the aspects and the eclipses. So yeah, big stuff. Okay, thanks again, Sagittarius rising signs, for joining me here. Trust you have yourself a wonderful month of September. If you want to work one on one with me and have a look at your own natal chart, you're like, oh, I don't really get it, or I want to have a look at my year ahead, or where my progressed moon is, etc., I can help you out with that. We can work one on one in the Zoom meetings. You can contact me at cosmicgirl101 at protonmail.com or if you have any astrological questions at all, that's where I can be reached at that email. I'd be more than happy to help you if I'm able. Okay, till next time, Sagittarius rising signs, stay cosmic.